Discover and develop your best message. Finding those stages to bring the best payday. We're going to talk a little bit of how to do that today with our wonderful interviewee, Mr. Rich Hopkins. We'll be right back. We are here at Achieve Experts Highlight Show with the wonderful, fabulous, amazing Rich Hopkins. Hey, Rich.
Hey, Barbara. Great to be here.
Yes, I'm so glad you're here, sir. And this is, this is not like I'm just getting to know this wonderful person, but I've been knowing him for a while. Not just in the Achieve community, but even beyond that. If anybody heard of Toastmasters, where leaders are made, I'm doing their little title. We both come from that. And Rich has been speaking longer than I have, so I have to give him a lot of kudos, a lot of love on that end. But I met him through another wonderful friend, and soon as I seen him speak, soon as I seen him coach, soon as I seen him give good evaluations to people, I was like, that's the real deal right there. So, Rich, I have been learning from you from afar. Just to let you know, you have been my mentor from afar. And I just want to give you that love first before we kind of start on your journey of what you do for others when it comes to speaking and understanding. And I love, we're going to talk a little bit more about that, their message, and it's how important that is. So before we get into that, I like backstories. So how did you just say to yourself, okay, I want to help people and finding their speech, finding their message, finding, what their purpose is basically when they speak?
It wasn't really something that I ever thought I would get into. I was in Toastmasters. I'd been in Toastmasters for about 4 years, won some contests, was fairly well recognized. In my home club in Salt Lake City, a man came, visited our club, and asked the president if there was anybody in the club that could help him with a Father of the Bride speech.
Oh, okay.
And she recommended he come talk to me. I thought, okay, let's do it. And we spent the next couple of months getting to know each other. I dug into his past with his daughter to find some stories that would work to help him with humor. He wasn't really that much of a public speaker. He was a great salesman, but wasn't a public speaker. And we would go through, we'd film and go over the film. We would write, and long story short, after a couple of months, he went and did the wedding, which I didn't realize it at the time was on top of a castle in Vienna. And
wow. Okay.
he got some fantastic feedback in terms of how well he did. His friends had never heard him give a speech that well before. He got laughs where he wanted to get laughs. And he gave me a great recommendation letter, as well as a bonus. I was only going to charge him $100. By the time we were done, he'd paid me $1,000. So suddenly I thought, I appear to be good at this. I enjoy it. Let's do it. And I put out my shingle, as they used to say back in the 1800s, and have been coaching people ever since.
Wow, Rich. See, that's why I like to listen to the stories of how, people fall into their, I feel like mission in life, like purpose, not just your business, because hopefully people look at it as that too. Because even when you go through the, hard times or some days you're not going to feel all 100%, your passion or that mission still is inside of you saying, you know what, I'm pushing because I love doing this. Just like you just said, you said, I love doing it, so let's go for it. And if some money's coming in the way with it, hey, that's extra. So from $100 to $1,000, yeah, that would make me rethink some things and say, okay, that might work. And I like what I do. So with that, Rich, and this is, I want to get a little detail into the, like you said, helping people discover and develop. So kind of give us a little leeway, like if you had, with a client that you've been working with, people that you work with, how do you kind of start off with that? Because everybody I know is at different levels. Some people just need confidence. Some people might be like way up there speakers, but then they still miss it. And I know you've seen all of that before.
Absolutely. And that's one of the key things that I do with people is I meet them where they are. Mm-hmm. I can't just offer them a program and say, okay, this is what we're going to do no matter what. This is what you're doing. I have to find out what they need, how advanced they are. And sometimes we start from square one. Sometimes we're starting at square five. My overall goal, my overall mission is to be able to help them discover, develop, and deliver their best message, because they have to find whatever that message is within them. They have to be able to develop that message in a way that the audience wants to hear it. Because just because you have a good story doesn't mean it's going to help your audience. You need to develop that story into something that's going to give your audience value, and then deliver from your delivery skills to actually finding stages you can deliver that presentation on and either get paid to be on the stage or get paid after you're on the stage from selling on the stage.
Yeah. I like that. You got the 3Ds. I just thought about that. Is that what it's called? Like your coaching is the 3Ds?
3Ds. I've had a lot of people tell me it should be, so maybe I will.
See that? I mean, it's catchy. Yeah, the 3Ds: discover, develop, and deliver. I mean, people will never not understand what you do for them. So I'm glad you gave a little bit about kind of the results that they would get working with you. And I know for myself, discovering your message, because you can have a whole lot. We all have a whole lot. I always tell people, if you've been living from the age of 5 and beyond, or even before that, you have some stories, you have some messages there somewhere. You just need to figure out how they fit. So I was going to ask you, when you work with people discovering their messages, because, I've seen people that speak on all different types of stories. It could be a sad story, or it could be a story of awareness or whatever. And they just don't know where to fit, where it's going to bring that next level, like you said, that next level for them, so people can understand and what are they getting out of it. Because like you said, I know you always say, well, you're not speaking for yourself, you're speaking for the audience.
Yeah, you have to connect your story to the audience. You may have had some trial or tribulation, some fantastic victory. How does that relate to the person in the audience? Because they're not going to have the same experience, but they can have similar experiences. They can still feel the way you have felt. They can still use some of the tactics that you might have used mentally, physically, whatever it is you're talking about. But you can't just go up there and turn yourself into a hero and expect them to just, oh, well, he did it, so I can do it.
Yeah. And it's like you said, some people might not experience, if you have a story about, I'm just going to throw out there, like if you had a divorce. Well, everybody hasn't had a divorce. So when you're telling your story, you're being this like, oh, I came out of this, da, 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 da. So I feel like you said, you have to relate. I love how you said you have to relate and connect with the audience. Not the same story, but it's the same type, maybe feeling, or what you went through. Maybe they went through the same thing, but in a different scenario. Is that kind of how you explain it?
Well, if you haven't gone through a divorce, you have most likely experienced loss. And it's often loss that you couldn't control. Something went away. You lost a job. A pet ran away. You lost a friend. You lost a parent. There are different kinds of loss, but loss is loss.
Yeah.
And that's typically what people are talking about. Bottom line, when they're talking about divorce, is how did I deal with that loss?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then like you said, my loss, and I found this out too when I was on stage one time because I was talking about a loss of a loved one, which was my dad. That's one of my keynote speeches that I talk about. And at the end of that particular keynote I did that time, somebody came to me and said, I didn't resonate. I was like, okay, well, I kind of figured everybody's not probably going to resonate. I mean, it would be nice for everybody to resonate, but I'm just curious why, because I do ask those questions because I want to know. They said, because I didn't really like my dad. So when he passed, it wasn't really, like, oh my God, the light, the world, the crumble, everything's crumbling around, all that kind of stuff. Uh, and they said, I hate to say this, but I was kind of relieved. I was like, oh, okay. Well, yeah, you wouldn't resonate with my story because my dad was my rock. I loved him. Your dad, you had a different relationship. So does that kind of do you see that happening too, like with people that have a different connection, even with whatever story you're saying?
Yeah, that can happen. And there are two ways to deal with that. One is to, figure out, is my story too specific? Is the way I'm telling it, the tools and methods that I'm teaching along with the story, are they general enough for the audience? And if not, how do I make that happen? And that's what I work with my clients on all the time. But then there also is a point where you just have to say, well, not everyone's going to get everything I do, everything I say.
Yeah.
But if you can be ahead of it, if you can be aware of it and be ahead of it, you can do everything you can to be as inclusive as possible.
Yeah. And I like how what you said earlier, Rich, when you bridged it, like, okay, you might not have a loss of a loved one, but you have a loss of a job, you have a loss of a pet, and you have a loss of a friend. And I feel like everybody's saying that, those connections happen because you think in your mind in the audience, oh yeah, I did lose a pet, or yeah, I did lose, my job, or whatever the case may be. So I think when you bring it out there, so you have people thinking, the audience thinking, it resonates better. Your delivery for it, right?
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you want them thinking and empathizing with you, knowing that you empathize with them. And that way you're more able to make that connection, and they're going to be more likely to accept the solutions that you're bringing them.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Now, I was going to ask you, Rich, like when you do sign on a client, what are kind of the first steps that people would see, when they want to work with you?
Well, the first thing we do is really drill down on what their message is.
Okay.
And oftentimes there is a difference between the message they think they have and the message they really have, or the message they want to give and whether or not the message they want to give is a message anyone wants to hear.
Mm.
So you've got to really hone down
Mm-hmm.
on what that message is and how it can help an audience. And that's part of the next step is, well, what's your audience? Who do you want to give this to? Who are you qualified to deliver this to? Who is most likely to benefit from what you want to teach, from what you want to talk about? And for everybody, that's different. I mean, some people are pure motivational speakers, and they just want to pump everybody up.
Yeah.
There's you can do that. There are audiences for that, but even within that, there are specific niches you want to start with before you expand. Other speakers are business speakers. They're more trainer speakers, and their keynotes are going to be more training oriented. And still other people are more sales oriented. They're pitching their business. They're pitching some sort of coaching program. So everybody is going to be different, and it's identifying what that message is and what you want your audience to do with it. That is the first big major step we take.
Oh, that was everybody. That was mic drops. Boom, 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 boom. You did some big mic drops because I like how you really size up like different type of speakers, and what they want to do, what their motive is. Like, so you see, you have the motivational ones where you can get you all riled up, and then after you leave and stuff, you might still be a little riled up in there, but then sometimes things start to seep in as you go. And I wanted to throw out too, where a lot of people I'm hearing nowadays when they're talking about speaking, is transformational. I hear that so much now. That's like a buzzword in the speakers community. It seems like, oh, I'm a transformational speaker. Oh yes, you'll transform after I speak. So what is your take on that? I want to get your take as being a coach.
Well, you've heard the term orange is the new black.
Yeah.
Transformational is the new motivational. It's the
Mm,
same thing, but people don't like to hear motivational because they think 1980s, 1990s,
mm,
Tony Robbins, Zig Ziglar.
yeah.
Whereas when they think transformational, oftentimes it's a little bit more up to date.
Mm,
But essentially, it's all the same thing. They were trying to transform you by helping you motivate yourself. It
mm,
was still transformational. It just
mm,
wasn't termed that way.
mm, okay. Okay. Yeah, okay. I can see that. You're right. People are just is like a new type of buzzword out there compared to this motivational. Because even I heard some people try to make the distinction of the two. And I mean, overall, like you said, Rich, is that you're trying to stir up something in somebody so they can see things in a different light and maybe move forward in a different way in their life. I mean, think that's basically what you do, what you're trying to do in whatever capacity you're speaking, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, regardless of whether you're that motivational, transformational speaker or a trainer or a salesperson,
Mhm,
you're addressing a problem the audience has and
mhm,
you're giving them a solution, whether it's a way to motivate, transform themselves, a way to learn whatever it is you're training them on,
mhm.
or to use the product, service that you're selling that solves the problem that they have.
Yes. And like you said, bingo, I love that when you said solving the problem that they have and understanding that. So when you're doing your coaching with people, do you kind of go a little bit into that of having seen understanding what problem they're trying to solve through what they're speaking?
Oh yeah, that's
Mhm.
that's a huge part of it. I mean, you may have a story about climbing Mount Everest. That's great. Well, what problem do you want to solve for the audience? Are you wanting to solve their issues they have with resilience
Mhm.
or persistence or
Mhm.
perspective? Are you wanting to talk about organization,
Mhm.
preparedness? There are
Mhm.
all sorts of problems that somebody had when they wanted to climb Mount Everest. But if
Mhm.
they just talk about climbing Mount Everest and don't identify a couple of their problems that they want to talk about that affect that audience,
Mhm.
they're just up there being entertaining,
Yeah.
maybe, hopefully, at least. But they're
What
not
you
they're not solving any problems.
what you said? If you're not solving problems, what are you up there for? It's like we're just listening to you. Just listen to the story. You know, somebody told me a long time ago. He said, "Bar, if you're not really solving a problem for the audience or really resonate with the audience, then you're just up there doing your own therapy." I'm like, wow, thank you so much. And what you said, Rich, you're like, okay, I agree.
No, absolutely. I mean, there are entertaining speakers.
Yeah.
That's why people who played professional football make tens of thousands of dollars for a keynote, that they don't necessarily have to solve any problems. They
Yeah.
just need to talk about the good old days.
And because like you said, they're celebrity wise, sometimes that's just all that counts of
Exactly.
what they got. So yeah, I love that. I love that. Now also I know that you help individuals with is finding the best stages for the best payday. So can you talk a little bit about how you go by doing that or helping others with that?
Yeah, it's really this is the hard work part that clients don't like,
Mm-hmm.
because they have to pick an audience they want to go after, but they also have to go after every audience. It's kind of
Mm-hmm.
like if you're a beginner, you just need to get out there and speak.
Yeah.
So I send them to all the low hanging fruit possible, from Toastmasters clubs to Rotary groups
Mm-hmm.
to Lions, Kiwanis, associations. And what that means is that they have to do a ton of outreach, ton of emailing, a ton of phone calling if they choose to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But then they're also targeting associations that are affiliated with the niche that they want to talk to, or niche for those viewers that prefer niche.
Mm-hmm.
There are there there is your target audience. So you find those associations, you find those companies, and you approach them as well.
Mm-hmm.
My last client, he contacted over 350 groups, associations, chambers before he ever got a sniff. And once he actually
Wow.
got into one and spoke to one, he has culled a ton of opportunities just from speaking to that group. And it has perpetuated.
The
But the
reason,
problem is most people don't want to do that work.
yeah.
They aren't able to handle it. And so I
Mm,
have to really work to coach and encourage and be that accountability person for them to
mhm.
make sure that they're getting that done so that all the other work they've done
Yeah.
doesn't just go poof.
Yeah, poof out the door. I'm glad you were so open to saying that, and just like you said, just being authentic by saying it's going to take that part of it's going to take the work. As first part is like you said, discover, develop, basically deliver the 3Ds of what you do, and then from that point, the flip side of that, okay, if you want to get on stages and get paid, you got to do the work. You got to reach out there and see and talk to people. And I see a lot of people be like, they call like 3 or 4. I'm just gonna put it out there. 10 people be like, no one can call me. I'm done. I'm like, you just called 10 people. you haven't even scratched the surface. What are you talking about? But yeah, so I always gotta look at them like, okay, because my face expression shows everything, so I have to really bring it in. But yeah, you gotta do the work. I mean, that's just a part of it. Unless you're a celebrity, and even with that, depending on where they want to speak. I mean, they even have to have their PR people or whatever help them out. Yeah, yeah, definitely. So now I wanted to ask you because there's one thing I want to make sure that the Achieve members and the Alpha leaders, because they're listening into this wonderful conversation, what ideal client that you like to work with? Because one of the things we want to spotlight is making sure that after you hear and resonate, like with Rich and the other people I'm interviewing, is how that can help you in your life. So, Rich, what kind of ideal clients that you're looking for?
Well, if you're a business owner, you need to be speaking
Mm-hmm.
because the last thing you want to do is continue to try to speak to one person every time. If you're in a networking group, it's usually 1-to-1. You're talking to one customer as they come in. You get in front of a group of 30, 50, 100, you get a chance to sell to everybody.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean you have to give a sales presentation.
Mm.
You may own a business, but you want to talk about something that is going to motivate people. So you want to be that motivational speaker who's also a business person. Well, that will still attract people to your business because they will know who you are and what you do
Mhm.
in the way that we build your speech.
Yes.
Your presentation will be representative of who you are, and
Mhm.
you will solve the problem that you want to solve for that audience.
Mhm.
But you can also do training, informational about whatever your business does, and
Mhm.
that is a natural sell. Or it can be a pitch. Maybe you're going someplace where they expect you to pitch. You're
Mhm.
going up and it's a pitch fest. So you got to have an offer. You don't talk to Leela Veronica and you get your high level massive offer. And I'll help you actually go out and get on stage and sell that offer once you've got it.
Mhm. I'm glad you brought that up, Rich, because a lot of times people don't look at pitch sometime as a form of speaking that you should be practicing and working on. Some people are like, oh, I can go and pitch, no problem. Yeah, my name is da 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 da, and I do da 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 da, and you want da 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 da. Okay, well, that was da 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 da. All that was nothing. It was kind of like, okay, really, you didn't really get me. I didn't lean in when you were talking about your pitch. So I'm glad that you brought that up, Rich, that you do also, look at individuals and say, okay, are you working on a pitch? Let's work on that. Let's see, just if you're speaking for 20 minutes or 2 minutes, you still need to make sure you're honing into what you always say is your message. Yeah.
So I want to add on to that I will also go into companies and corporations and train their staffs on becoming better speakers because managers aren't always great communicators.
No,
CEOs aren't always great communicators. And
sorry.
we all know that customer service folks aren't always great communicators.
Say that to the rooftops. You're right. Yeah, because I mean, if I hear another monotone like leader, I'm gonna be like, and there's been times I was like this because they don't get it. It's like, come on, just get some energy, even if you're tired, please. So
What
I'm
do
glad.
you want? I just work here.
Yeah, our results for this year are at 2.5 million. I'm like, oh God. Even it could be a high number, you still not making it exciting. But yeah, I'm glad. See, people please reach out to Rich on that. Any kind of corporations, any type of people, that leadership or whatever. Rich is the man. So yeah, Rich, I'm glad that you said the ideal clients that you work with. Just to remind people, and I don't know if Rich is going to use this, but I keep saying the 3Ds. I mean, it really is catchy. Discover, develop and deliver your true message and understand how. And I like what Rich does. He strategizes with you on just not saying or figuring out your message, but also putting it together so it makes a difference with what you're trying to resolve. What type of pain are you relieving for your audience? What they need from you, and understanding what stages to go on. And what did you say, Rich? It's work. It's work. Yeah.
It's work.
Yes. So I want to make sure that you leave some golden nuggets for us. So I'm going to take myself down for 30 seconds, leave some wonderful gold nuggets, and we'll be back to close up and so they can understand how they can reach you. I'll be right back.
All right. Well, folks, you've all got a story, and that story needs to be shared. That's great. How does it need to be shared? Who will that story help? That's what I can help you find, is how that story is going to help your audience. Because you want your audience to be glad they heard you, and you want your audience to do something with what you've given them in your talk beyond your story, through your tactics that you've used to solve whatever problem that came up, how you overcame whatever obstacles you were faced with. And they want to celebrate similar victories to the victory that you no doubt celebrated at the end of the story or stories that you're going to deliver. Apparently, I need more golden nuggets. So, no.
I know you have more, but but thanks, Rich. This has been so delightful. Like I said, been knowing you for a while, and I know that you have helped so many people get on those stages, not just understand their message, but really helping them be their own lighthouse. Because I always say, people, you're a lighthouse to the world because you have those special, unique gifts in you, and it helps others. So you're helping people speak that out so they know who they are, they know what message they bring, and then you never know who you're touching. There's a new buzzword, as we said a little while ago, transformational of their lives. Yeah. So thank you so much, Rich. And please reach out. Now, Rich, how can they contact you? You need to contact Rich. How can they contact you?
You can contact me at rich@richhopkins.com. How simple is that? And you can just Google Rich Hopkins speaker and you will find me. I am everywhere. Keep in mind, I am not the stunt man, nor am I the rock star. I'm the speaker guy.
I like that. All of a sudden I hear da 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 da. I don't know where that just came right after in my head. You need like a little, on your chest. I am the speaker. You probably have that. Now I'm thinking about it. You probably do be like super speaker. Yeah, I love that. So with that said, Rich, appreciate you being on the Achieve Experts Highlight Show for Achieve channel. And again, please show up when you show up. Remember, as I said before, you are a lighthouse. A lighthouse. You know what a lighthouse does? It brings in the boats. So you're bringing in the people that need you to shine that light, not only from your life and what you give, but help others shine their light too. And that's how you achieve overall. So with that said, we'll see you at the next Achieve Expert Highlight Show. Thank you, Rich.
Thank you, Barbara.